Alright then, so it's time for the next challenge, and this one is going to be a little bit more difficult because we are further along in the course, and this time I'm going to ask you to create an extra modal inside app.view, so another one of these things right here. And you need to use the same modal component that we have over here. Remember, this is a very reusable component, but you can pass in a different template as a slot. It doesn't really matter what that template is. You can have named slots if you want, you don't have to, or you can just have a default slot. It really doesn't matter, but we are going to have to use a different method to toggle this modal, or rather your modal that you're going to create, opening and closing. So instead of toggle modal, create another one called toggle modal 2, and that would toggle a different data property called show modal 2, because otherwise if you toggle the same one, it's just going to control this modal we already created. So that's the challenge. Have a go at it, spend some time on it, and then if you struggle, stick around. In this video I'm going to now show you the solution. So pause it here to have a go, and then press play when you think you've done it, or if you need help. Okay then, so now let me show you how I solve this. So first of all, I'm going to come down to the data and create a second property to show a different modal, and that's going to be show modal 2, and that will be false to begin with. And by the way, we can get rid of the header and the text because we're not using those as props anymore. So now we have this, we need a second function as well. So I'm going to copy this one because it's going to be very similar, paste it in, and I'm going to alt click after each one of these so I can update each one at the same time, and it's going to be show modal 2 and toggle modal 2 for the function name. Okay, so this is doing the same thing as this one, but it's updating this instead. So we're going to use this function to control whether the second modal opens or not. So now let's create that second modal, and I'm just going to do this pretty much under the second modal. So I'm going to copy all this right here, and I'm going to paste it underneath. Now instead of using if show modal, this time it's going to be show modal 2. So we only show this modal if show modal 2 is true. Now inside that, we still might want to pass a theme. We don't have to. I'm going to delete that so we don't pass a sale theme. So we have the default theme, and then I'm not going to pass in a named slot. And all I do is replace the text for these things right here. So I'll say sign up to the newsletter, and then for the paragraph tag I'll say for updates and promo codes. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That is the modal, but we also need a button to control the opening of this. So let's duplicate that one, and this time we'll say toggle modal 2. We'll get rid of the alt modifier and get rid of it there as well. And that is pretty much everything. We don't actually have to do anything else inside the modal. And that's what I mean. It's very reusable. We can use it in many different places. And all we do is change what we pass in, what props we give it, and how we open it. So let's give this a whirl. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to come to the browser, and I'm going to say open modal right here. And we can see sign up to the newsletter for updates and promo codes. So that one's working. If we try to close this, however, doesn't quite work. And that's because if we take a look at this, when we say at close, we're still using toggle modal, not toggle modal 2. So remember to update that as well. Save it, and let's try this again. I'm going to refresh, open the modal, and now if we click over here, it closes that one. And let's try the first one, make sure that still works. Alt click. Yep, this all works. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. That is how you reuse a component in Vue. Dead simple.